Yo, 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 everybody, how's it going? It's Sloshy Joshy back with another weekly rankings video. And today we're going to do the running back position. Um, Hope you guys had a good week one. Um, Put out my must adds for week two video yesterday. There's a lot of good ones this week. Spoiler alert. So get in there. Free agency process probably today actually. It's Wednesday, so probably too late if you're watching this video now. But hopefully you watch the video, got your guys. And let's get into this video. So number one, we have Jahmyr Gibbs. So guy right on the cover there. Going up against the Bears. Little Ben Johnson revenge game, week two. We'd love to see the narrative. Jahmyr Gibbs had kind of an off game week one. The Lions in general kind of looked lost, but I do think Gibbs gonna have a bounce back game against the Bears defense, where Jordan Mason just kind of ran all over them. Aaron Jones had a pretty good game too, but I think the run game is gonna go pretty well for the Lions this week. Number two, I have Bijan Robinson. Um, and I mean, dude, 100 yards is week one. You're just, I mean, from a receiving standpoint, he's almost a must play. Like if I could play him at receiver, I would. Um, but yeah, playing the Vikings. Vikings looked pretty good on Monday night. Playing the Bears, had the comeback and everything. Bijan Robinson, Falcons, they looked pretty good. They lost a nail biter to the Bucks, but some encouraging things from that offense for sure. Pitts seems to have a pretty good role. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, obviously, and then Bijan had like 6 catches, 100 yards in the receiving game, so pretty crazy. Couldn't get the run game going much though, so hopefully he bounces back in that aspect too. And then you're talking like major fantasy points, so that's why I have him at two. All right, I gotta pick up the pace here. Sometimes I just ramble, and this list takes forever. So let's start rolling through my high points quickly. Derrick Henry, I mean, dude, did you guys watch the game? Derrick Henry is just like one of the goats. Obviously, he fumbled really late, which sucked. But I mean, every time he touches the ball, you're like, holy shit, he could score a touchdown. It's like every single time, no matter where he is on the field. Derrick Henry's playing the Browns. Should be a beat up game. 11-point spread right now, so I love Derrick Henry. Christian McCaffrey. So McCaffrey's just benefiting from the Kittle injury. Jawan Jennings got banged up again, I think. So it's really like Ricky Pearsall and then McCaffrey. So I think McCaffrey's going to get a lot of work. They're playing the Saints, which you guys know how I feel about the Saints. They suck. So great matchup for McCaffrey this week. Like him at the 4 spot. Kieran Williams on the Rams, playing the Titans. Another kind of beat 'em up game. Expect the Rams to win pretty good. Kieran Williams should have a good game. Just pounding the rock, running clock out, stuff like that. Saquon Barkley, I have him at six. He does have a tougher matchup against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs do have a good run defense. But we're talking about Saquon here, and you know he makes even the best defenses look bad. With that O line, nothing's impossible. So I do think Saquon has a good game. He got a couple of touchdowns taken last week from Jalen Hurts, which is just the nature of the beast. They weren't touch pushes either, though. He didn't. He ran them both in, but um, you know, obviously more volume that could be going to Saquon. So he'll have a good game. Should be a good game on Sunday at 425. Chase Brown is my seven. Chase Brown didn't get much going on the ground. Um, he had he had a touchdown, but he had kind of a lackluster week. Outside of that kind of, but that was kind of just the Bengals offense in general. They look pretty flat week one. Some stat against the Browns. I don't know why they struggle against the Browns. Kind of crazy, but they got the Jaguars, and I think this one's going to be a shootout. We get the total score at 49.5, so they're expecting 50 plus points. And I agree on this one. I think this one's going to be a shootout. So like Chase Brown to score, once or twice, hopefully. So I have him at 7. Josh Jacobs at 8. Gets the Commanders um, on Thursday night, so should be a good game. Josh Jacobs is kind of just their like focal point. They love to establish the run, then open up the play action and get all their crossing routes and all kinds of stuff going. So I just expect Josh Jacobs to get like 20 plus touches every week, and with that becomes RB1 volume. Even if you're just average, like 3-4 yards a carry, you're gonna have some good volume. So like I'm at 8. Devon Achane is in my 9. Um, I am a little worried about the Dolphins. So, Devon Achane was like the only bright spot week one, but they could not get anything going. They have an easier matchup against the Patriots, right? So hopefully, um, that comes into perspective. But the Colts straight up whooped them, and Achane did score a receiving touchdown. He got his receiving work, and as long as Tua is quarterback, he's gonna get his 4 or 5 catches a game. So I like Achane at 9. Still has that speed to break away a long play. But we're monitoring the Dolphins because that whole offense could tank pretty severely, just depending on what happens. Number 10, I have Jonathan Taylor. So um, takes on the Broncos, so not the greatest matchup. Um, but the Colts offense was humming against the Dolphins. I know Broncos are a different beast, but I do think the Colts have a little life right now. They're kind of playing behind Danny Dimes. It's kind of crazy to even say that. They got some hype around Danny Dimes right now, so I think Jonathan Taylor's feeding off that. The whole team is, and I think they have another good week. I don't know if they'll win, but they'll have another good week against the Broncos. Number 11, I like Bucky Irving. He's playing the Texans on Monday night, so another tough matchup for Bucky. Didn't have a great game against the Falcons. He did salvage his day with a receiving touchdown, but other than that, I think he only had like 30, 40 total yards. He did get, there's bright side. He had I think 20 plus carries, so that means he's gonna get like 90% of the carries. I think Rachaad White only had like 2 or 3, so Bucky is the guy. Um, hopefully this game's a little better. Texans do have a good run D though, so we'll see. But I do like Bucky Irving this week as a RB1. And then I have Ashton Jeanty, another Monday night player. Scored a touchdown on Sunday, and definitely got a bulk of the volume. He's the clear RB1, which we kind of expected, but just from a volume perspective, he is the guy. So that rounds out my top tier starts, my RB1s. Let's take a look at RB2s. So starting off with James Conner. He had a touchdown on Sunday. It was like a little shuffle pass receiving touchdown. It was a pretty cool play, actually. He gets the Panthers, which the Panthers looked absolutely terrible on Sunday. They let up 200 rushing yards, which is one reason why I have James Conner right as my top rated RB2, I guess, of the week. So I do think he's going to have a good week. Trey Benson is something to watch. I don't foresee James Conner losing his majority role, but there is a split there for sure. So that's something we gotta keep an eye on moving forward. James Cook at 14. I love James Cook, man. I think he's underrated every year in fantasy for some reason. Had an awesome catch and run. Had I think 5 catches, so got a lot of passing work. Ran the ball pretty well too, so I think he is a really good part of that Bills offense, and they like to use him in all facets. So I really like James Cook. He's playing the Jets on Sunday, so should be a good game there. A little divisional rival game, but James Cook should get some work and good work. Chuba Hubbard, I have at 15. I like Chuba Hubbard. It is unfortunate that he's on the Panthers because that offense just did not look good. I think he caught like a screen and took it to the house, so that kind of salvaged his fantasy day. He ended up finishing pretty good though. I think he was like a top 10, top 15 running back last week. So um, he's a great running back. He just needs, I mean, if the Panthers are gonna suck all year, then he's just gonna lose his carries early, which is gonna hurt him unless he develops that passing game and gets more involved there. But we'll keep an eye on him. I like him this week though at 15, playing the Cardinals. They should have a pretty good game there. Brees Hall is my 16. The Jets. He is playing the Bills. So not you know um the Steelers. I mean, he ran all over the Steelers. Sorry, I was losing my train of thought there, but he had 100 something yards like in the first half against the Steelers. Steelers have a great defense in my opinion. We just watched Derrick Henry explode against the Bills. Now I know that's a different beast, but I mean, I think the Ravens had 238 rushing yards total as a team. So Brees Hall, Justin Fields, I think they all should run pretty well against the Bills, unless I don't know. The Bills got to figure something out there. 17, I have Alvin Kamara. So he didn't get as much work week one, and I will keep an eye on that because that is concerning. He didn't get a lot of passing work from Rattler, and I don't know if that's a Rattler thing. I guess we'll have to see week two. I am still plugging him in because he is a fantasy demon at running back. He always has been. Just with he got a touchdown. You know, he didn't have like a bad week. I'm not saying he had a bad week or a dud or anything, but I think he only had like 2 or 3 catches, which is unlike Kamara in the passing game. There's less volume in the passing game was my red flag, but still playing him at 17. Um, 49ers should win, so maybe that passing game will be coming up here more for Kamara in the catch up. But 18, I have Travis Etienne, and this is a little spike from last week, but um, I know you guys saw in the news probably Tank Bigsby gets traded to the Eagles, which opens up a ton of work for Etienne. And he was actually playing better than Bigsby anyway on Sunday. He had a lot of long runs and a lot of passing work. So the Jaguars felt comfortable enough to move on from Bigsby. They think Etienne's their guy. I know there's a couple, guys right behind him, like who's the guy from Virginia Tech, Tootin Tutton. He might add. We'll see in the next video next week. We'll see how much, but I do think Etienne's definitely getting that majority role, and I think he shot up. His fantasy stock kind of shot up with the Bigsby trade for sure. So I like him at 18 against the Bengals, which should be a pretty high scoring um, affair. Not to mention the Bengals just gave up 8 catches to Dylan Sampson, so Etienne should get a ton of passing work there. Tony Pollard is my 19. He's playing the Rams, so Titans are a weird team right now. They kind of are trying to find their identity, find what works with Cam Ward and team. But I do think Tony Pollard. We talked about this with Tajay Spears on the starting the year on the pup. I think Tony Pollard's a good play every week, at least until Spears comes back and starts taking that receiving work back. But yeah, plugging him in at number 19. Number 20, we have Omarion Hampton. Looked like he was running hard, and then I checked the stat with my buddies, and he didn't have a great game, but um, when Herbert's on like that, it's hard to be like, yeah, let's run the ball now. He's just hitting every pass perfectly. Chargers look great against the Chiefs, and I do think at the end of the day, Harbaugh does love to run the ball, and I think they're gonna try to do that this Sunday against the. Oh, I'm sorry, this Monday against the Raiders. Should be a good divisional game, but Hampton should get involved pretty quickly and often. Didn't see much of Najee, which was a good sign for Hampton users. So he does seem to be RB1 for sure. So like him at 20. Number 21, I have DeAndre Swift. Had a decent game against the Vikings, nothing crazy. Looks like they were kind of lost too, which is a little interesting. But it's their first game in that new Ben Johnson offense. So we'll see what happens. But I know Ben Johnson loves to run the football. DeAndre Swift was very involved. Rashawn Johnson did sit, so we'll see, what kind of role he has when he comes back. That was one of my must-adds. He ended up getting hurt and not playing, so sorry about that one. But who's the rookie? Kyle Monangai, something like that. I'm sorry. If I butchered that name, I'm so sorry. But he did get a couple touches, but Swift was the guy. You could tell he was out there probably 80% of the time. Jalen Warren's my 22. Not didn't really see much from Caleb Johnson, which I was actually kind of high Caleb Johnson, preseason. But I think he had like -2 rushing yards, 1 carry, 2 carries, something like that. Jalen Warren was the guy for sure. And they even played Kenneth Gainwell a lot over Caleb Johnson. So like Jalen Warren, he can do it all, right? He can rush, he can catch. So with that Steelers offense, having a little more life with A-Rod, I think Jalen Warren's going to be a good play this year. Number 23, I have J.K. Dobbins. I do think he's edging out R.J. Harvey right now in that backfield. And he's just the better runner right now, I think, as well. Just the every down back. So I'd like him at 23. They are playing the who are the Broncos playing again? Colts. Should be a good matchup. We'll see what happens. J.K. Dobbins. And then 24, I have Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. So Um, 82 rushing yards in his debut in the NFL, a touchdown. You know, didn't get much receiving work. I was still going to Eckler. So that's kind of the downside of his game right now. But maybe he gets more involved. We'll see on Thursday night. But I do like him, as a he just has great vision, to be honest. And when I was watching him, just hit the right holes every time. I think he's gonna be a good running back. So try not to, put my biasm hat on here, but I do think just watching the game, he looked really good, and it does look like he's gonna be the guy. Eckler kind of started as the guy, and then it kind of transitioned to Cross Chimera. It's kind of weird, but it was just you could tell just the speed and the quickness out of the backfield versus Eckler. Obviously, Eckler's what 30 something now, but JCM is my 24, rounding out the RB2 B tier. All right, now we get the flex starts or RB3 tier. Number 25, I have Javonte Williams. So Jaden Blue didn't play, so that's something that we're gonna watch this week, see if he does play. But Javonte Williams got pretty much all the work in the backfield. So scored 2 touchdowns, which was pretty crazy. So I think he was a top 5 RB. I think, yeah, he was top 5 RB in fantasy week 1. So pretty crazy, pretty surprising there. Didn't have him on my list, but they're playing the Giants, which the Commanders just had a good game against them. So excuse me, Devontae Williams should have some success on the ground again. 26, I have Travion Henderson. It was pretty much a split with Stevenson, so we want to see Henderson get more work. Obviously, still think Henderson's a better back. He did get a good amount of receiving work. I think it was 5 catches or so. So we love to see that. If he's getting 5+ catches a game, that's gonna be amazing for fantasy PPR. So put him at 26, playing the Dolphins. Dave Montgomery I have at 27. He did he saw that change of pace back kind of work. I still think Gibbs is the guy, so he would probably be one of my later. I don't have him in my top 2 RB categories, right? So Montgomery's kind of slipping for me down and down. 28, Aaron Jones. He had a pretty sweet receiving touchdown, but looks like most of the running work was going to Jordan Mason, which I have at 29. So I kind of paired them together. I think Aaron Jones still has the leg up just because of PPR points, so I'm going to give him the 28 spot. But Jordan Mason looked really good running the ball. Do you think Jordan Mason will get most of the goal line work, red zone touches? So we'll have to see how that backfield unfolds. Number 30, my only running back on my must adds for week 2 was Dylan Sampson. 8 targets is just something you can't ignore out of the backfield. And he had 20 total touches, which is just amazing. As a rookie running back, I know Judkins is coming back, so maybe some of that rushing work gets taken away, but still from those receiving numbers, if he's going to be that big of a part of the passing game, that's pretty appealing. So I have him at 30. Tyrone Tracy at 31, playing the Cowboys. I mean, the Giants, uh, with Russell, I don't have much hope for them. We'll see. I mean, Tyrone Tracy is a really talented running back. It's just going to be, game script kind of vibe. So if the Cowboys get up early, we may not see much of them. But I'll put him at 31 for now. Pacheco I have at 32. Playing the Eagles. Eagles just have a great defense. Don't like the matchup at all. And Pacheco, I don't know. After he broke his leg, he just hasn't been the same. And I don't know if that's just a me thing or what. But 33, I have Zach Charbonnet. And then I have Kenneth Walker at 34, so I'll pair them as well. They pretty much split carries evenly, and I don't know if that's because Kenneth Walker is kind of nursing back from that ankle injury he had preseason or what, but I know people that drafted Kenneth Walker are pretty upset right now in like the second, third round. I think he was going third round, third, fourth, somewhere in there. Charbonnet edges him out. He seems to be getting the red zone touches. Charbonnet does the goal line work because he's the bigger back. So I have him at 33, Kenneth Walker at 34. Austin Eckler at 35. He did get a lot of ground game, and he did get a couple passes. he does not have that speed anymore. So like the long play ability is pretty much gone. It seems like. I mean, you never know, but I have him at 35, and then I have RJ Harvey at 36. RJ Harvey had a pretty poor day, honestly. If he didn't break off, he had like a 50-yard run late in the game to like salvage his whole day. But I think he finished with maybe 9 or 10 points. Not a crazy game, but um, still promise there. We'll see. It was his first game in the NFL, so we'll put him at 36, and we'll call that a day. So thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about my rankings. If you disagree somewhere or whatever. But look forward to making more of these for you guys. Wide receivers coming out tomorrow. So appreciate you guys watching, and see you on the next one. Peace.